Hi there and welcome to this timeless reading. Let's see what message you need to hear right now. A message of peace. Have you been in turmoil potentially? Is something riling you up in this moment? We're going to look into this. This message of peace is reminding you to find peace in the present moment. To whatever frustration you are going through, find yourself back in peace. But I'm gonna look into this. What is this message of peace about? Okay. Malt, which is death. Daughter of Cups. And the Alchemist, which is the Magician in reverse. Okay, let me show you. Let me see. Oh my lordies. Well, I'm gonna show you this one first. Did you hear the crow? It's not a crow actually, it's another bird. We have the Death card. Beautiful depiction of this, I feel like. Getting to the light at the end of the tunnel. We think we are at an end and here we are in a new beginning. With the Daughter of Cups here, we have the Queen of Cups. Someone who's tapped into their femininity, into their nurturing side. And who's found the power to nurture themselves, to pour into themselves, and to accept only the same kind of treatment in return for things to stay afloat and to stay regulated. Oh, sorry about that. Well, what I was going to show you here with the ocean, the tides coming in and out, things will change, emotions will come and go. But the Queen of Cups has understood the tides and she works with them instead of against them. And what is here? We've got the Magician in reverse. The Magician has all the elements in front of him. The Magician has all the power to create and manifest the life that he wants. There is some sort of a blockage that you might be feeling in regards to that within yourself. I want to get an explanation for each of these cards. That's what I'm feeling we need to do. For the Death card, please. Why is the Death card here? Oh, someone wanted me to see them and then they didn't come out. Well, I'm sure they will if they're meant to. The Eight of Cups. Some sort of wish fulfillment. But actually, a wish fulfillment that didn't end up happening. There was a wish you didn't actually get to this place, but you had to walk away from it before it reached time to harvest. There is pain here. Yes, so you had to leave something behind that you at the time did not recognize to be dead yet. Or you did, and it was just really hard to let that be in the past. When something suddenly, like with death, it's sudden change. Things that happen to us and we are completely thrusted into a new reality in which someone we deeply cared for is no longer there. Or things we deeply cared for are no longer there. Even versions of ourselves. So I think you had to go through some sort of deep emotional change. And that has caused you turmoil. Yes, leaving behind something, stepping into a new version of yourself. With the Alchemist in reverse. Why is this here? Okay, these I'm getting... Oh, we'll see. Okay, yes. We have the Lovers come out. And we have the Wheel of Fortune. A relationship potentially was the thing that you had to leave behind. This might not be for everyone, but there is something in regards to love coming up. Something that was fated, something that had to come as it always was meant to. The wheel had to keep turning for the next step to be reached and for this new version of yourself to be reached. Yeah. The Lovers can also, because this might not be for... Not everyone might have gone through some sort of a relational breakup, but this can be just your connection to love, the way you relate to love. With the Queen of Cups here as well, the way how comfortable you feel emoting your love, showing your love, and receiving it, you know. This could also be things that came up here. But it's funny because I was asking about the magician, and these cards came out and fell right on top of the death card. So this situation, this releasing that had to happen, this, having to walk away from something that you had a lot of hope and belief in, and it left you quite lost in a desert. Yeah. Look, this person is literally leaving behind water to walk into an empty desert. So this was not a choice that came easy, or that on the other side of this tunnel you would find instant gratification. No, you knew that this was going to be a very challenging time. But you did it anyway. You did it anyway because you were always meant to do it. You were meant to go along with this, the circle of life, in a way, the wheel of fortune. But I want to get, I do want to understand the alchemist. So is this blockage that came of the self? Yeah, because you were kept in a very small box. You kept yourself in a very small box. There was a fear of losing the stability that you had at the time, even though it wasn't that much actually. But it was the first type of stability maybe that you felt in a while. Why am I saying this? The Four of Coins is holding on to something. They're holding on to what they've built in their life, the material. That is what's giving them stability right now. They don't have a lot of other stuff going on there. But what I think is you were so enthralled into this material world that you disregarded the other aspects of life. Because the alchemist has all four suits in front of him. Does he in this one? Not in this depiction actually. But the idea of them understanding that you have the four elements. You have fire, earth, air, and water, each representing a different element of the human experience. So the emotions, the energy, the passion, the spark. Then you have the mind and the material world. And here you were being sucked into the material world, feeling stuck in that, that led to this blockage of you seeing yourself as this version of you that can create, that is more connected, that is connected to all different aspects of life. The Daughter of Cups, can we get an explanation? Why is the Daughter of Cups here? The Emperor, the Hierophant in reverse, and the Daughter of Staff, which is the Page of Wands. Okay. This was about empowering yourself. The Sultan is the male father figure of the tarot. There's a lot of associations with male figures, but the archetype of the father is the Emperor. So this might have been family issues in regards to your father or father figures in your life, but it doesn't have to be. What I'm seeing is this is very much about you learning to accept your horns, learning to accept that you are allowed to defend yourself. You are allowed to not always agree. You're allowed to make a fuss about things. Yes. You're allowed to stand your ground. You're allowed to build the empire you want to build. And you had to learn this lesson through connecting with your emotions. There was a blockage in your spirituality, in your connection to trust. And this could also be specifically for some of you a disdain of religious ideology in a way, because there was a control factor in there that you didn't appreciate. So kind of like, you know what I mean, like structured religion kind of vibe. And here the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is learning how to stand in their power. So this is you excited to do that, and finally having the spark being lit to do that for yourself and for others. Yeah, you're learning to stand in your power through your emotions. And I'm feeling called to say, we do have a musician here. We have someone playing music. So maybe your creative expression, potentially even music specifically, is something very important to you, that you connect very, very deeply through with people, and where you are standing in your power. What I'm getting here with the message of peace that came out very in the beginning of this, I think today you're just needing a bit of a pick-me-up, or a bit of a reminder of how much you've already done and how far you've come. Making big changes in your life. In the search and the aim for growing, for standing in your power, for you to stand in your power, for you to stand in your emotions, be honest about your emotions. We're gonna have to keep this short. It's getting dark, my dudes. I don't know, the camera is still okay. I think it looks okay, but it is getting dark. Message of peace. Why? Can we get an elaboration, please? Soon. Okay. Yes, so this is not just a reassurance, but this is also meant for you to know that this peace is coming. If you're still feeling, you see the duality of life, if you're still the black and the white, you're still feeling somewhat stressed out, it is coming very soon, this peace. It is coming into your life. It is meant to be in your life. It is meant to find you. You've done the work. And it is coming in. What can the collective do to bring in this peace? Okay, I'm meant to pick one of these, and then I'll pick you some self-care. What can they do to connect to this peace as soon as possible? And don't get frustrated if it does take some time to find it, because, you know, just like the waves of the ocean, if they're rising particularly high, it might take a bit of time for them to calm down again. So allow for that, allow for the energy to do the thing it's got to do, to move from one place to another. It can't disappear, it can only be shifted. The 14, the Temperance card, the 3 of Wands in reverse, and the 7 of Coins, 7 of Pentacles, okay? You are to find balance between your fear of expansion and your deep need for wanting something to come. What I'm feeling is you really have been putting in a lot of effort in. The 7 of Coins, oh my, why is everything flying out of my hand today? The 7 of Coins has put in a lot of effort into their labor, and they're waiting for their harvest. It's not quite there yet. They've already done a lot. You can see how big the tree has grown. But then there is a lack of expansion. You are not seeing the outcomes in your material world, potentially, or your emotional world that you would like, and you're being called to find it within yourself, to understand the balance of things. What we were saying, things have to come, like a baby needs its time in the womb to grow into a place where it can survive outside of the womb, correct? So in that sense, you need to allow this version of yourself, these changes you've made, to gestate long enough for them to be able to sustain themselves. Yes. And that will bring you peace. The knowledge that this is the outcome is how you can find peace in the here and now. Because you understand that, okay, it's coming, I just gotta chill out. It's okay, it'll take some time, but it is meant to. It is meant to, and it will. And I'm being called to show you again the Alchemist, which I, funnily enough, put upright down last time I picked it up without even noticing. So there's been this shift now throughout this reading. Maybe you felt it, maybe you didn't, but this understanding that you're seeing, okay, there's more to change, there's more to manifestation than me just wanting it to happen, or me just thinking I've earned it. You might have, and you probably did, but it doesn't mean that it's going to happen instantly. There's still things that need to be looked at, and understanding all the different areas of life. You can't just focus on one. Most people focus on the material to fix other versions, other parts of themselves. Or there is a hyper focus on the mind where you get highly stuck in thought patterns and overthinking. These are all things for you to look into, to align the versions, these different parts of yourself that make up the human experience. Yes, and once you do, you will feel the light at the end of the tunnel. You already feel it. You already feel it, I know. And it's funny how this card is super gray. Gray, almost like there is no black and white. Yes, there is no black and white. There's no good or bad. There only is. There is only a spectrum. And this spectrum is but an illusion of how we are able to perceive the world. So trust that there are much bigger things going on behind the scenes that you and I cannot even fathom. And that will lead you to your power and to your peace. I'm feeling very calm now at the end of this message. Thank you so much for spending time with me and for entrusting me with your reading. It means the absolute world to me, to be able to help people connect with themselves and trusting themselves and work on personal growth, because I truly believe we can make this world a better place, one introspective thought at a time. Last, to finish off your reading, my dearest, what are some things you can do to connect? I was going to say, what can you do to help yourself and everything? And also connect to your intuition. And what do we have here? We have the intuition. And in this depiction, beautifully depicting this idea that I call the onion of existence, of these different layers of what we can perceive and see, and also the different versions of ourselves. We sometimes think we leave behind a version of ourselves to a new version, disregarding what we had, but we are simply building on top of what we came from, and continuously doing that, building these layers. And introspection is but going back into those layers, backwards, into understanding where the deep reaction or pain is coming from. And not just that, but also your gut feeling. Your intuition it gets covered up by all of the social noise, by all of the structural noise around us. But paradoxically speaking, the deepest layer is the most outer layer, and vice versa. The end is the beginning, and the beginning is the end. If you haven't watched Dark, please watch the show Dark. Because that's what the show is about. And don't look anything up, just watch it and tell me what you thought, okay? Please. Thank you so much. And if you don't want to, that's okay too. Obviously. But it would be, if this is something you're interested in, these concepts, these philosophical conversations, you would enjoy, I think. Alrighty. We have build strength and we have read. Build strength, and what I'm hearing is build resilience. Build resilience to find yourself back into your intuition each time. The resilience to make the choice to go back, to make the choice to connect, to make the choice to take a break, to breathe, and to make it a conscious act rather than a subconscious, automated reaction. You can do that, but then you might find yourself at some point in a place you didn't want to end up, because the GPS took a route that you did not expect it to. Read. So finding peace in the moment through maybe escaping into stories. This doesn't have to mean you have to read fantasy, but maybe it does, because I felt called to tell you about Dark, my favorite show. So maybe the idea of fantasy, of working through not issues, but through concepts and through situational things that happen to us in life, in the idea of art, and to read about people going through the hero's journey, for example, and to connect to the main protagonist of the story, and you know what I mean, kind of seeing yourself in the books, but equally allowing books and stories to make you deal with yourself, the duality and the paradoxicality of it again, of going within and also without at the same time. But this is it, my dearest. This is your message for the day. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you here again soon. If you're interested in a personal reading, my contacts for that is in the description. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.